And good evening. Tonight, a new chapter in this era of political violence. Conservative political activist Charlie Kirk is dead, assassinated while speaking on a college campus in Utah. These videos capture the chaos in the crowd as at least one gunshot rang out, striking Kirk near his neck. It happened in broad daylight in front of a large crowd of thousands. Kirk had been talking about mass shootings when the shot was fired. Little is known about the shooter, but moments ago authorities said they have a person of interest now in custody, but the investigation is ongoing. The president calling Kirk great and even legendary. Called a MAGA influencer, Kirk was a major supporter of President Trump and helped build his 2024 coalition with young people. The 31-year-old had a massive following, but was divisive at times, often leaning into thorny political issues with provocative commentary. At least 1,000 people reportedly signed a petition to try and stop him from speaking at the event today. Tonight, political leaders from both parties condemning the attack as America reels from another political assassination. We have team coverage across the country, and we begin with Liz Kreutz. And Liz, we have new information tonight just in about that shooter.
Yeah, Tom, that's right. FBI Director Kash Patel has just posted that the suspect in the shooting today is now in custody, while the governor of Utah has just said at a press conference they have a person of interest. This update coming after another horrific day of political violence in America.
Hundreds of people were there at Utah Valley University to see conservative activist Charlie Kirk, who had just thrown hats to the cheering crowd and posted on X, "We are so back," touting the first stop on what he called the American Comeback Tour. The 31-year-old conservative star who rallied young people behind President Trump. He just started talking there under that white tent when witnesses say one shot rang out. The shooting was captured on video and is too disturbing to show. Immediately, crowds started running for cover.
We just heard an immediate pop. We're like, what's going on here? And then after that pop, we just saw him in his neck. We saw him fall backward.
I was the last one standing because I couldn't quite believe. I thought maybe it was a stunt. I'm still shaking and I'm still crying. I love Charlie Kirk. He's awesome. And I pray for him and his family.
Brendan says he was just 15 feet away. He says Kirk was answering audience questions. He had just been asked about mass shootings when the shot was fired.
He was actually just talking about mass shootings, too, which is crazy, with the trans shooting that just happened recently with the trans shooter. And as soon as he got done answering the question, we heard a loud pop. He got hit in the left side of his neck and dropped. We all dropped. His security dragged him out of there, and we just ran. I was more angry, I would say, than terrified. You know, we hear all the time that we're the problem, we're the violent ones, we're the issue, and yet this is the second mass, shooting attempt on a political figure. First Donald Trump, now we have Charlie Kirk.
Kim had come to see Kirk with her daughter Bentley.
It was scary because you don't know if it's real, if it's not, but you just have to go with your gut and get out of there.
Former Congressman Jason Chavez was also there with his family.
People came out to hear the dialogue, the back and forth. Ask him anything. That's what Turning Point and Charlie Kirk's all about. Ask him anything. In the midst of that, the shot rang out.
He says everyone started running and screaming.
And I just hope and pray that somehow, some way, he survives this.
But just before 5 this afternoon, President Trump posting the tragic news. The great and even legendary Charlie Kirk is dead. No one understood or had the heart of the youth in the United States of America better than Charlie. He was loved and admired by all, especially me, and now he is no longer with us. Melania and my sympathies go out to his beautiful wife, Erica, and family. Charlie, we love you. In the House, a moment of silence.
I'm just going to state the obvious here. This is detestable, what's happened. Political violence has become all too common in American society, and this is not who we are. Political violence must be called out, and it has to stop.
The university says the gunman fired from a building 200 yards away. Late tonight, FBI Director Kash Patel saying they have a subject for the horrific shooting in custody, while Utah's governor described a person of interest.
We have a person of interest in custody that is being interviewed right now.
The only information we have on the suspect, the possible shooter, is taken from closed-circuit TV here on campus. We do have that. We're analyzing it, but it is security camera footage, so you can kind of guess what the quality of that is. But we do know dressed in all dark clothing. But we don't have much better description other than that.
So many witnesses saying they saw no security at the event before the assassination.
There was no checkpoints, nothing to get in here. Everyone was just able to walk in here. I'm like, I have my backpack. I'm like, if I wanted to, I could just bring a gun with me.
Charlie Kirk survived by his wife and 2 young children. His organization, Turning Point USA, asking that everyone keep his family and loved ones in their prayers.
All right, Liz joins us now live. Liz, there in your report, you were talking about the lack of security. What more do we know about the event that was being hosted there on the college campus?
Yeah, Tom, well, it started around noon local time there, and it was open to both students and the public, and witnesses were saying there was not a lot of security there. This was part of the American Comeback Tour, where Charlie Kirk was going to be going and speaking and answering questions at different college campuses. This was the very start of that tour for the start of the fall semester, Tom.
All right, Liz Kreutz leading us off. There have been a lot of late developments in this investigation, so I want to get to Kelly O'Donnell. Kelly, you've been talking to your sources at the FBI. What are they telling you?
Well, senior officials there say that they believe the person who is in custody is the person responsible for the death of Charlie Kirk. Much more work still to be done. But, Tom, as you've seen this today, it has been at times confusing. In the initial aftermath of the shooting itself, which is a terrible jolt to all who were present, the chaos of people running away. And there was one older man who was taken into custody. He has been charged locally with an obstruction charge and was described to me by law enforcement as someone who was well known to them, as someone who's been charged with various offenses, not violent, in the local community. So that at first drew a lot of attention. But now it is clear the FBI and top officials, including the governor, separating that person is not believed to have anything to do with the shooting. And so now the question is, what can authorities look at? They've indicated there is video, however grainy it may be. They will be searching for additional sources of video, whether that's fixed security cameras or people using their phones and so forth, to try to analyze that, to diagram the shooting, and then to pour into the life of the person who is currently considered a person of interest. Their phones, their electronics, trying to learn where did they get a weapon, what type of weapon, and what motivations, if any, can be discerned.
All right, Kelly, our thanks to you. Let's go live to the scene now. Mike Headrick with our NBC affiliate KSL in Salt Lake City is there tonight. Mike, investigators, police doing 2 things right now, trying to collect clues, but also making sure all those students are safe.
Yeah, and it is a heavy load that they have to bear right now. On any given day, Tom, you're going to have 40,000 plus students who are coming on campus here. The case today with this situation, you had an extra 1,000 to 1,500 people who were here to see this all play out. And again, tragic, surreal, that's how most people explain the situation today. You look behind me and you see some of the buildings here. That's what police were forced to do for hours. They went into every building, every room. They cleared every single one of them. You had choppers above, you had drones. They did everything they could to find this shooter. Yes, it seems a little quiet right now, but the police presence is heavy. Tom?
All right, Mike Headrick for us. Mike, we thank you for that. Just moments after the shooting, I spoke by phone with a man named Justin Hicken, who was at the event at Utah Valley University and witnessed what happened.
I was about 20 yards away on Charlie's left. There were thousands of people there. Unfortunately, there was no metal detectors. There was there was security by Charlie, but, anybody could have shown up with whatever, unfortunately. There was someone who stepped up, ironically, coincidentally, who asked a question about mass shootings. And about 60 to 90 seconds in, we heard a big loud shot. I saw a bunch of blood come out of Charlie. I saw his body kind of kick back and go limp, and everybody dropped to the ground. And luckily, there were no other bullets sprayed into the crowd because nobody was really able to go anywhere.
When you heard the shot, did it sound like it was close, near to where he was speaking, or did it sound like it was coming from afar, maybe in the back of the crowd, or could you tell?
No, it sounded like it was the back of the crowd. I don't know, though. It's like it must have been closer, but then again, it's like if it was that close, how did nobody else, see this man pulling a gun out of his, side or pocket or whatever?
We sort of all witnessed what happened to President Trump when he was on the campaign trail in Pennsylvania, and what happened there. When this was happening, did it kind of register in your head, someone's trying to kill Charlie Kirk?
Oh, yeah, immediately. For a split second, you kind of like, wait a minute, is this really happening? And, you know, you saw the amount of blood that came out upon the initial shot, and you knew that it was, it did not look good.
Witnessed by thousands there. Charlie Kirk was an early and vocal supporter of Donald Trump. He used his large following of young voters to help power the conservative movement and cement his place in the MAGA movement and with President Trump. Kristen Welker has more.
Charlie Kirk's influence in the MAGA movement and the Trump administration was monumental. His power and influence extending from college campuses all the way to the White House.
Visiting it yesterday was very moving.
Kirk was a guest at the White House back in May, sharing his experience on YouTube.
I got to see the original copy of the Declaration of Independence.
A close champion of the president, Kirk was a constant presence at rallies, earning a speaking spot at the Republican convention.
Donald Trump refuses to accept this fake, pathetic, mutilated version of the American dream.
Kirk had built a following of millions of online supporters, energizing young people, helping President Trump's re-election.
And I want to express my tremendous gratitude to Charlie Kirk.
Charlie Kirk helped fund the conservative organization Turning Point USA in 2012, within years turning it into a major political force, raising hundreds of millions of dollars. His support of President Trump goes all the way back to Mr. Trump's campaign in 2016, when he helped him win the White House for the first time. Kirk then devoted his focus to getting more Republicans elected to office. Kirk built his own political empire by trying to win over liberal audiences on college campuses, and his own podcast where he interviewed politicians from both parties. But it was President Trump who Kirk focused his energy on, loyalty the president has always valued.
I truly believe that President Trump, throughout these last couple of years, overcoming all these odds is one of the greatest stories ever told. And let's just say thank you, God, for giving us Donald Trump and giving our country back.
Charlie Kirk was just 18 years old when he founded Turning Point USA. I spoke to a White House official who tells me everyone there is just in shock because they all had close ties to Charlie Kirk. Tom.
Kristen Welker for us. Kristen, we thank you. I want to bring in Tom Winter. Tom, so much of the focus now is going to be on security and protecting not only elected political officials, but anybody in politics.
Yeah, that's right, Tom. Just look at what we've gone through recently. We had 2 assassination attempts on President Trump. Those Minnesota lawmakers were targeted. Even that healthcare CEO shot on a New York City street. Tonight, law enforcement officials tell me this is an unprecedented environment, and the enormity of protecting all these high-profile figures and institutions all the time is the type of security challenge the country has not faced since 23 years and a day ago on 9/11. Events like today's at a college campus present serious challenges for local law enforcement to secure. The NYPD's top terrorism official warning that the threat environment is everything, everywhere, all at once, Tom.
And Tom, before you go, let's go back to the suspect they have in custody now. We know very little about him, but apparently wearing dark clothing and maybe seen on closed-circuit television.
That's right, Tom, and they're going to try to see if they have the gun on that person. They didn't quite address that at a briefing earlier today. On top of that, they're going to check what law enforcement calls their holdings, basically their files, to see whether or not they've come across this individual in the past.
Okay, Tom Winter for us. Tom, thank you. We thank you for watching. And remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.